Hello yogis, and welcome to day 6 of the 30 pose journey. Thank you so much for joining me per usual here in the Zen Den. So today's posture is Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. It's so incredibly common. We practice it in almost every single style of yoga. It's a really powerful posture that's got a couple of tips and tricks that I'm going to pass on to you today so that you can feel like a warrior in the posture, but still find a space of surrender, right? So please join me, step onto your yoga mat, and let's get started. All right, you're on your mat, you're standing up, you're ready to be that warrior you already are. We're gonna come into it from 2 different ways, but the first way is gonna be from standing at the top of our mat. So coming to the top of your mat, bring your hands to your hips, and we're gonna start by stepping the left foot back about 2 to 4 feet. So stepping it back 2 to 4 feet, really deciding on the distance based on your overall flexibility and strength in your legs. Noticing the back left foot, so bringing our attention and awareness there. My foot is positioned at about a 45-degree angle, going to about 10 o'clock on a clock, okay? And then what I want to really bring attention to, continue to bring attention to, is this back section of the posture. So this back leg is incredibly active. You're sending energy down through the leg, activating the knee and pushing out through the knife edge of the back left foot. So that pinky edge, okay? This activation will then help you lift the inner ankle on this side of the foot. Why this is so important is because this activation and engagement in this back leg will help us rotate the hips as we come forward and stack knee over ankle, okay? So back activation, the leg is super incredibly hugging muscle to bone. You're pushing through that knife edge. You're gently lifting the inner ankle, which is allowing you to rotate the hips forward as you sink down lower, stacking knee over ankle. Okay? Yeah? You're with me? Okay, good. I know that this is a tough place to be. Really hug the muscle to bone. Breathe it out, okay? You got this, warriors. From here, we want to draw the hip points, just like in mountain pose Tadasana that we talked about. Draw the hip points up towards the heart, sending the tailbone down, making space in the low back region. And then from this space of integration, activation, we're going to inhale the arms high. We're going to stay for 5 breaths. So settle in. Breathe deep. Melting shoulders down away from the ears, lifting through the heart center, finding that space between the low ribs and the pelvis here. 3 more rounds of breath. Last round here. And then start to straighten the front leg, hands to hips, walk it in, and let's go over some things now that we felt how the pose is manifesting in our body today, right? So we talked a lot about that back leg, so I'm not going to go over that again. What I do want to go over are I want to go over the feet placement. So a lot of times we are taught or we think that Warrior 1 should be practiced on a balance beam. So the front foot is here and the back foot is right in line, okay? This is really impractical for most people. The hips are not going to be able to square. We just don't have enough space and mobility with this stance. It's too closed off. So what I was once told by a yoga teacher, and now that I implement every time I come to this pose, is bringing the feet to a railroad stance. So the front foot's on one side of the railroad tracks and the back foot is on the other side of the railroad tracks. Notice how much more space is made here, which allows the hips to really rotate forward and find this hip squaring action. Yeah? Yeah? You with me? Good. Okay. And the other big component I want to talk about is driving the front heel into the earth, okay? You really hug the muscle to bone here and activate this front glute. It's got to support you in the pose. So push down through the heel, hug muscle to bone, and feel the glute lifting up. Yeah, you should feel that. And then lastly, I want to talk about is when the arms are raised up high, many times, and often I did for many years, is I sunk into my lower back and thought that this back bend action was so beautiful. And while it can be beautiful, what's not beautiful is what's happening in the lower back. We're compressing and we're sinking. So instead we draw the hip points up, making space in the low back, really firming the core here, and then finding length from here, maybe taking a small back bend, but maintaining everything that you just set up. Whew, and that's hard to hold. So, yogis, step on your mat. Really hone in on those different components we spoke about and integrate it into your warrior, your Virabhadrasana 1. Before I let you go, one other thing I want to touch on is coming into the pose from downward facing dog, which is an uber popular way to step into it. So from this space of downward facing dog, you're more than welcome to come with me on this journey. So meeting me here in downward facing dog. Begin to inhale the left leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to the nose, hug it in. Plant the foot in between the front hands. Now here's where the transition occurs. You want to soften the back right leg into that 45-degree angle, pointing at about 3 o'clock now, 2 o'clock. Set up your stance here. So start to hug the muscle to bone, stack the knee over the ankle, push down through the back knife edge of the foot, firm up the back leg, hug the belly in, gaze forward, and then inhale up. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Coming into this stance, feeling confident, strong, and proud, but at the same time soft, surrendering, able to relax. Let's take 3 breaths. Last round. Hands to hips, hop on up to the top. Make sure you practice that on both sides today so you leave nice and balanced. I'll meet you back here in the Zen Den for the next day of our 30 pose journey. And now I'm gonna Namago, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hey journey goers, Allie here with a huge favor to ask you. If you love practicing yoga alongside me and want more of it, then please subscribe to the channel. By supporting me, you inspire my journey, which then I hope inspires yours. As always, thank you for stepping on the mat with me, for being a part of this community, and for making the commitment to live your journey.